Hey everyone, back with some more Zhuo. As you can see, the Halloween event has begun, and with it, Huyan Zhuo is rated up. So we've nipped on over to the quick account, and we'll see how our rolls go. She's an AoE quick assassin. Adventure. That's MP2 low though. I'm more than okay with any 4-star spooks they want to throw at us. The one here is actually permanent, I'm pretty sure, and he's Buster, so not for this account. Huyan Zhuo is one of, unfortunately, several 5-star AoE quick servants this year that has pretty much identical kits, but arguably the best of them kit wise, just because she has debuff removal resistance. Unfortunately, effects-wise, there aren't any decent craft essences here, but it feels like rarely are the gacha event C's worthwhile effects-wise. As for Huyan's kit, she's an AoE quick assassin. Her first skill increases both her quick and buster performance for 3 turns by 30%, and increases her star gen rate for quick cards by 20%, and her crit damage by 20% with the buster cards. So something similar to you'd find on Ashvatamon. Second skill, 3 turns of Invuln Pierce, 30% attack up to 3 turns, and a 1-turn star absorption. And then skill 3, she gives herself 2 ticks of evade the last 3 turns. Gives herself 3 turns of buff removal resistance 100%. And it's the 30% battery because quicks aren't allowed 50% batteries except for Alice? Is she the only one? Well, there's Karen, I suppose. Though very few. Typically they give those to Arts, even though Arts is the 1 card type that doesn't need super high batteries. MP, like I said, is AoE, 40% stun chance, anti-evil power mods, and it gives a 1-turn quicker for 20% that scales with overcharge. Shame that's only 1 turn, so her damage doesn't scale, but is what it is. Stun's unreliable, but it can come in handy in a pinch. Her skill mats are a bit rough because she takes 216 of those Twilight Ceremonial blades, which are new from Trom. So hopefully you've been farming those up. I think I'm around 30 so short for being able to get all 3 of the skills out. That's alright. Actually, check the shop. Okay, they're 30 in the shop, so that'll take care of most of it. Lucky. This too is wrong. Seeing Instrument reminds me, Panda Lancer got her buff starting with this event. Quite a good one. Hold on. watching. Okay, it's just one. It's just the one bath. Basically gives her 30% battery, 5 turns of star regen, 15 stars a turn, and it also extends her guts length by 2 turns. All really great effects. Oh, also PSA, because I only have like 5 days to do it, but one-offs, interludes are available for everyone whether you have her or not. So make sure to get those done, because that's free Saint Quartz. They pulled a fast one on us and gave C and JP, this event happens, and then like a week after the event ends is when the scramble got main introduced. But for some reason they gave it a few days before they started this event here. I don't know why, but they did. And that's one of the things they snuck in there. Well, bugger. Funnily enough, that is, on any account, the very first time I've gotten in. Glad to see my luck from the rest of the year when it comes to getting spooked on 5 stars is continuing.
Servant, Archer, Arjuna と申します。マスター、私を存分にお使いください。
Pretty standard short introductory line for year 1 servants. If anything, he got was the first one of those. If anything, he got slightly more lines than usual. feel like we're getting quite a few riders all of a sudden. Okay, we're our last bit of tickets here. We'll have to do a quartz solo roll to finish off this bonus. Zhuo. She's on the 5-star event craft distance with you. I can't recall if I have that MLB'd on this account or not. It is nice to finally have some more 4-star craft distances that are usable. Same copy of that. Oh, I suppose I could actually show you what he does. It's what's that? Okay, it's mixed stats, so already that's a shame. It's just the typical MP regen each turn with some MP strength and crit strength up. If it was full attack, it wouldn't be terrible. It's mixed stats, it's no good. That guy there. That face. Bugger all. That was just rude. Okay, did that summon take? Or it did. So looks like a min roll. Let's try this again. That was something. Rider. You're already MP5, love. You could have been Angry Cat or Angrier Cat or Dharma Cat. There's a lot of cats. Who else? No, seriously, who else? suppose the Yuri pirates, because they're just MP1. Yeah, I suppose he's the thing. Oh, I thought I'd gotten a copy of him on here before. I'm just confused. Another rider. Remember I said earlier, it seems like we're getting quite a few riders. A lot of gold in this row. Trying to remember if I even need any more coup coins right now.
サーバント・セイバー、フィオナ騎士団ディルム・トーディナ、騎士としてあなたに仕えさせていただきます。
それがしは武聖王皇彦と申す者。貴君を主として報じるべく参上をつかまつった。文王がごとき人君なのか、あるいは中王がごとき根君なのか、見定めさせてもらうといたそう。
I don't appreciate the colour of that beard on his shoulder. It's a rather unappealing colour. Beard copy of that. I don't know why I'm even keeping track. It's not worth worrying about MLB. Just worrying about getting Huyan Zhuo. The Arjuna spook really buggered me over there. Because now it's just that much more I have to roll to get one copy, let alone two. Roma. Surge of archers recently. Right, I think that's my 5th copy of him, so we take those. Oh. There's an assassin, so at least the game remembered that the class exists. Fortunately, it's also the worst servant in the game. Holds the distinguished honour of getting a buff that makes them worse. Fascinating, truly. Well, we're getting assassins now, so now we just need all those lovely rainbow sparks to proc, even gold ones. Or just rolls old game. Golden card, like happened earlier with the Arjuna. Actually taunting me at this point. That craft isn't. It's obviously Riki, but I can't quite tell who's behind him. Because art style wise, it looks like Theseus, but Theseus isn't in the game yet. In Global. So I don't think they would have slapped him on there earlier. So it's probably Finn. Oh yeah, she exists. Another rider. I can't remember his kit at all. I don't remember it being anything spectacular though. I think a big part of his issue and why he was forgettable is that we just got a single target buster, because I'm pretty sure they're both single target buster rider. Welfare in Lizarella, who is far and away better kit wise than he is. And she was free, so don't have to worry about getting buggered over by your rolls like I have this year. That's 3 rolling, man. For those keeping track at home. Not sure why, but I feel like the summoning animations just look slightly different. Maybe it's because it's been so long since I've been rolling on here, not Blue Archive. But I swear something looks different. I just can't quite put my finger on what. Maybe it's like it's sharper. Might have been a slight update thing snuck through at some point. I don't remember one happening, but oh. Well, we've won now. We've already got necromancy. If you just win all your coin flips, you'll be invincible. That's why necromancy is the best craft essence in the game. True story. It's very colourful craft essence. Has that one been removed? Yet more riders. So much for that spirit of assassins we had there for a little while back. Here's something. See, that's a fine spoon. Can it be? There we go. Should have been MP2, I should have been done. Bugger all.
サーバント、コエンシャク。クラスはアサシン。本来ならば召喚される身の上ではないのですが、特殊な事情によって召喚されました。とある幻霊との融合により女性として召喚されていますが、戦闘能力は劣化していませんのでお気になさらず。以上、何かご質問あるいはお褒めの言葉などありますでしょうか。
Hopefully we're able to get another copy of it pretty quickly. so I can save the rest of this quartz, the bulk of this quartz for a head start on saving for Saber Medusa next year. That's the plan, at least. I think that's MLB now. I suppose I could just look up that craft essence and see who's on it. I'm pretty sure it's Finn. It is in fact Finn. And there's the nursery rhyme Z every time. I swear there's something different about the summoning animation. Nursery rhyme craft essence saved us from the Minro, well, of the trooper. Okay, we're still on the assassins, it seems like. Hopefully that's a good sign. back-to-back cultures for assassin. That's rare. Well, remember, I'll check what my coins for him are later. I imagine they're quite low, considering for some reason I rarely roll them. That is the dreaded min roll. Yay to see it. They want the Gojiro combo. Or Cultural, not Gojiro. Oh no, another necromancy. Save me from this abyss. Another lot of the poisonous snake. Back to back. How strange. Okay. Who's this going to be? Third one of them. Suppose I could check his kit fire. That one's been removed. I do recall that. 20% Arts and Buster up for the party, 3 turns. Grants himself the Grant Swooshing Who Guards the Kingdom buff. And switches his alignment from Chaotic to Lawful. Second skill, 20% MP regen every turn for 3 turns. 3 turn Guts. If he has Lawful alignment, he gets crit damage up to 50%. If he's Chaotic, he gets MP gen up 50% for 3 turns each. And then the third one, 30% attack up for himself, as well as crit up 30%, and then 10 crit stars per turn. So fairly standard single target MP that gives himself a rainbow buff of 10%. That does last 3 turns, so it will ramp up if you're able to. If you're able to spam it a bit. So yeah, fairly kit, in my opinion. His Noble Phantasm in particular is extremely plain. A 10%, basically a 10% buster up. For effects, and that's it. Affecting his damage at least. Origin Bullet. Would have preferred Black Grail, but c'est la vie. 3 copies of Necromancy in one routing session. What even is this world? Good old David. Complete another missed opportunity not having him more involved in the main story. He even appeared in it in Okeanos. So they clearly knew about him. He wasn't like forgotten, then they remembered him later, like, oh yeah, David's the thing. Absolutely baffling decision. They did attempt to have it. They did attempt to rectify it slightly with his interlude after the fact, but come on now. Come on now. Okay, that's new. That was just added. Another Marie. That's funny. It's like my 8th copy of her. Yeah, this is just a new, worse 2030, fragment of 2030. Well, it would be better on, say, Castoria than regular 2030, I suppose. Honestly, I don't know. It's just it's a one-time overcharge. Is this another Marie, or is it MP5 with the lad? Oh, Debrinia. Same, she's bust, not usable in this account. So I don't think I have one. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've gotten that period. Another one. Lots of spark changes. There's the 5th copy of him. Okay, what was I saying? Alright, 2030, the new version of it. So, since the overtime's one time, the overcharge upgrade is one time, I'm not sure that. I don't think that outdoes having just an extra 2 stars per turn every turn as opposed to a one-time thing. Because generally with Castoria, it's not all that big of an issue to get her at least one overcharge level. It amuses me that they came out with her summer version and the artist took out of Takeichi's book and just completely copied the poses and expressions and everything for the card art, except for the final ascension, of course, but otherwise it was the same. Another mineral. Sure, popping out the riders still. Wish all these Robins would guard on the arts again. I say all these, I think that was my second today. Which is 2 more than I've gotten on my art account in a long time. I say as if I even have used them recently. Since I got Scriptoria. There's the one that was power crept by Ramen despite coming out years afterwards. Several years afterwards. It's amusing how that worked out. Robin's a strong out the gate, they still haven't buffed him. They did, they'd probably just give a generic battery, which would be fine. It's not like his MP gain is spectacular. Broke under the 400 mark. Oh dear. Where is him? Starting to get flashbacks to Ibuki. Sure that wasn't one have to hit the equivalent of pity 5 times in 1 year. Okay, Angry Cat, no. Heracles. Well, it's my first non-arts account to get Heracles over in B1. It's kind of funny. So I think Kogyo is the 3-star I've rolled the fewest times over every account. Very rarely ever see him drop. Where we are, 340. Remember, 340 is the magic number, the average number of getting a 5-star. Go over that, then you veer into bad luck territory. Go under that, and you veer into good luck territory. Now, of course, we went quite a bit over it since we got our first copy of Huyan, and we had bad luck with getting spooked with our Juno, so. Otherwise, we could have been done a long time ago. If we don't get a this go around, may try the patented hyper skip next multi, see if that works. Well, that's an assassin. Poor excuse for one, but an assassin nonetheless. Those. If I knew whether it's MLB'd or not. I know where to be. Okay. Or would rather it would have been one of the other ones. Similar fix. Okay, hyper skip it is. And a mineral. And make me sad, game. You make me sad. All those big fancy HGR streamers lied to me. The hyperskip don't work at all. It doesn't work in the slightest. She. Hohenheim's another that seems to rarely draw. Very strange, very strange. Not a min roll, since that's a 5-star craft essence, not a 4. Remember, the 4 stars guaranteed, so any higher than that and it's no longer a min roll, even if it's only 1 gold. Back to getting a bunch of riders, it seems. Familiar territory. Is that the 3rd or 4th copy of Necromancy? Absolutely absurd. That's assassin. Like, and you've been one of the ones to spark in certain goals. Of course, then it probably would have been Longines or something. Oh, no, the Robin Hood. How about that? Concern increasing rapidly. Medeo, if only they would fix your MP scaling. Of course it's a rider. Could be worse, could have been like a Europa spook or something. Or a Drake, something that I can't use on this account. And a 5-star just to rub it in. Hopefully they didn't give the game any ideas. I think that's only the second Zhuo who a bit stingy today on her, it seems. There's no one of those. Well, okay, what's this going to be? Another rider. Generally hits some sort of sweet spot when it comes to 4 stars. I want to take into account how many standing quotes I had and how many tickets. I have officially hit pity to get 1 copy of it. So that is the 5th time this year that I was keeping Dragon on. 5 times this year I've had to hit or be within a multi of pity. Actual disaster. one always puts me in the mind of one of those. I think it was Summer 4, whichever one they were in Vegas. There was a Summer Craft Essence that looked pretty close to that one. Trying to get great success or super success. Sure, we'll hop over to see the announcements after this, I suppose. Can't hurt to give it a try. These are the ones I wanted. Close to 100. Easy now. Just giving all those because I'm not sure which ones I have MLB'd or not. I must warn you, as I invite. Okay, so it was 4. Ah, girl. So I endeavour to try to get one of these crit successes. Is that my luck in getting those is no better than my rolls. That is all. Huh. Actually quite strange. I thought I would have had more of the 3-star. No, I'll never know what that one was. Blast. What's I? Oh dear. Should I even raise now? Your pure attack. Didn't to do that. Your pure attack. You're the Shuriat, right? Yeah. Shuriat crit strength. You're mixed, but a fairly substantial attack bonus. As the other is here, I don't know if I have another craft essence worth leveling. I had more copies of that than I thought. I know where all those came from. So just need 2 more. There we are. Let's hope this works. It's going to, yeah. Should be Achilles. At least that would be a useful spook. Still might cry though. And it back to back. Is that 10 copies of that? It's certainly a strange ratio, especially considering how many spooks I got. Now watch on New Year's when I roll my last 2 account, trying to get who's, you know. I'll probably get like 10 copies of Huyan Dark, even though that's not what I'm rolling for. Because you've been one of the ones that sparked and changed. What do you even do? Ah, crit resist stat. What's the most useful of craft instances? Looks like we're on the craft distance roll here. Fingers crossed for assassin. Two 5-star spooks. Neither of which are usable on this account. It's just the way this year's been. Killed you 5 times in 1 year. That is, let me think.
あんたが新しい雇い主かい？私はフランシス・ドレイク。まあ仲良くやろうじゃないか。
I believe that's at least 10 SSR spooks that I've gotten this year. Just really finish off this bowl of water. Well then, last gasp. Shame neither of those sabres will launch me by. Well, looks like I have 3 singles I can do here. I'll just skip through them. Do you have Van Hoff? I do in fact have Van Hoff. Let's see, 2. Yep, 10 copies. As I thought. What was I looking for again? Nice, give me eye. Scrolled on by her. There she is. I kind of saw a doorman and my eyes glazed over and I just scrolled on past. Yeah, I've got her. Yeah, she's really good. I need to find excuses to use her more often, but unfortunately this game doesn't have story replay, so it severely hampers that sort of thing. It's something I wish the JP player base would be more vocal about, but it seems like a lot of them it hasn't clicked that, oh yeah, I'm rolling for all these servants, but I'm caught up with story and an event's not going on, so there's nothing to use them on. Shame, really. Yeah, Clyde's very good. Yeah, it's a shame those diamonds won't Lakshmi by. I'd liked getting her MP on her. So speaking of MPs, there's my second copy of Tusa Lily. The reason she's not, the reason I haven't went ahead and maxed her level out is because okay, was missing one. It's lack of embers for one, but also my main account has her MP5, so no use in really using a bunch of resources on her on this one just yet. I forget, did he ever get a buff? I know his Lancer version did. Don't think so. Okay. Now who was missing? I guess I'll do this, even though I'm not going to use him. There's Heracles. Couldn't that cover my hearts again? Get over that one. Why are you not locked? The reason I haven't burned ones like these that I can't use on this account is because you can always raise them and do their buff quests, like raise them bare minimums to where you can do their interludes and strengthenings for some more quartz. Oh, I thought he was in B4. This bugs me, that was two wasted grails. because I ended up getting Kana's MP like 8 on my Buster account, which is the account where she belongs, and is the one that can actually use her. Bugger all. In my defense, I didn't have a Buster account at the time. She's got... This is what I wanted to do. She has a buff coming. That's pretty stout. It's on... which skill was it on? Maybe skill 2? I don't know. It's a good buff. It is his second skill. It adds so it changes the crit damage up from being 3 times 3 turns into just being 3 turns, and it gives her a 30% MP battery, which combined with her third skill means that she has a 50% battery in separate charges, and then her first skill gives extra 10% battery each turn for 3 turns. So basically she becomes able to loot. Zhuo's a mini. Yeah, Zhuo is really useful for farming purposes, at least, as a mini Castoria. Naturally, in boss fights, she's not quite as good, just because she doesn't provide the protections, but general farming cases, with possibly minor exceptions such as the really high level ones, the pluses and the like, where the damage may fall slightly short. But yeah, generally she makes it to where you don't need your own Castoria for farming. You can just borrow one, as long as you have the DPS. Incidentally, here's a servant that's supremely underrated. She's an outstanding farmer, and she's extremely good in boss fights and challenge quests as well. She has lots of survivability. She's a ruler, so she's taking less damage from most things in the game. She's got nice invuln, she's got a taunt. Both of her second and third skill will drain MP gauge from the enemy, so you can delay their MP until she can get her invuln back out. And then her Noble Phantasm inflicts buff block on the enemies, which is outstanding. That is one of the most disruptive things you can do to a boss, because generally if you say you break a bar and they're supposed to get a bunch of buffs, well, since those buffs trigger all at the same time, even though it's only one stack of buff block, it will cancel all of the buffs, with the exception of the non-removable, unstoppable ones that are in the boxes. Here's a more meta. She's the best quick looper, so she's the best universal quick farmer. You can use her against anything that's not an Avenger, farming wise. So yeah, so some keys with it. This passive is extremely important because if she's debuffed, she gains 20% attack now. So that's just 20% extra damage she's doing. She gives herself, let me get the exact numbers for you. I get the page to load. So 20% quick well, she gives herself 20% rainbow buff. So quick arts and buster for 3 turns, 20% up. And that's 20, so you get that, and 20% attack up, triggering this passive, and then her second skill decreases defense by 20%, so that's another chunk of damage. And then her MP, she gives herself MP strength up by 10% scaling from overcharge. So 10% to 30% scaling from overcharge. So basically, she's getting triple multiplicative buff just by her own kit. And remember, different types of buffs is better than stacking the same type of buff, because they instead of adding together, they multiply together. And so if you're getting substantially more damage up than you would if it was just all stacked on one type of buff. She does anti-chaotic special attack damage. Her MP is upgraded, so so it's a lot stronger than it was. So she's really not hurting damage wise, despite being a ruler. Buff block is an incredibly amazing debuff to slap against the enemies. And then she has a lot of protection, a lot of disruption on the enemy. Just like I said, she is the best quick farmer. She is an outstanding boss fight or challenge quest specialist as well. Extremely versatile unit. Now, let's talk about ways you can actually trigger this passive that she has. Oh, she's also immune to fear and charm, just for a bonus as well. So, this triggers when there's a debuff on her. Now, if you go over to, say, an Avenger, and you look at their passives, they all have something similar to this, where they decrease the debuff resistance for all allies, including sub-members. So, including sub-members means that this works on the backline, but it also works if the Avenger is in the backline. So basically what you do is as you see right here, you slap an Avenger in the backline, and then that activates her passive for her, because everyone, the rest of your party, is getting some slight debuff resistance down just from having an Avenger in the party. Alternatively, if you don't have an Avenger, if you do have Black Grail, you can slap that on, because this 500 HP per turn burn passive triggers it as well. So those are two easy ways you can get it. Just an extra 20% damage for just slapping an Avenger out there. Hopefully that was understandable. That'll be a black screen of death there. Also, so another thing, another very important thing to keep in mind: her first skill. Besides giving, she gives herself 3 ticks of invuln, and she also gives her allies 1 tick of invuln. She also gives them MP gain up, and the reason for that is because of this. She absorbs up to 10% MP gauge from both of her allies each turn for 3 turns. And this is key for her looping. So she has I believe this is 30% MP gauge, and then here's 20%. So she has 50% battery. And then she gets an extra up to 20% per turn from this, which again means she can pretty much loop on any bloody thing, and she can loop with Black Crayon, so she doesn't even need starting MP gauge. Now, it's important that her supports have MP gauge that she can drain from, which used to mean you have to have a starting MP gauge CE on them. But since we have A pins, now you can just unlock this. Now, unfortunately, I will say it's like pulling teeth finding someone that actually bothers to unlock this on their Scotties or summer Scotties, but so that can be a bit of a bugaboo. But between people that actually do it and people that just slap a starting MP gauge craft essence on them, you should be okay there, and you always have control over your own Scotty or summer Scotty. So yeah, 1 copy and bond 6 is what it takes to unlock that. There's some issues. So you have to do just a slight bit of hard work forward to make her comfortable and ready to go, but otherwise she's fine and dandy. Do you see anyone else here you want to ask about? So you have Caster Scotty? Well, that's a very fine start. In fact, if you give her a starting gauge CE, which I have, I typically have Kaleidoscope on her, as you see here. Interesting. That's my only Kaleidoscope. I thought I got 2 or 3 copies of it already. But anyway, generally, if you slap K-scope on her, you don't even have to get into your backline to 3-turn. Just double Summer Scotty or double Scotty or Summer Scotty, regular Scotty, whatever combination will generally cover your charge provided again they have some charge that she can drain from. Of course, if you don't have K-Scope, this is the best C to slap on her. That's not Black Grail. But of course, that depends on if you were playing when that was available. Hold on. Let me check the wiki. Yeah, we do get a Christmas event rerun. That's what that came from, a Christmas event. Unfortunately, it's not the correct one. Yeah, don't let people gaslight you into thinking that Quick is unusable or some nonsense like that. Yes, it's a bit frustrating that we have no other supports really than the Scotties, but Quick units generally there are a lot of just really outstanding Quick units. I mean, Say's outstanding. She lots of party support and survivability and lots of crit stars, and she even gets 3 different damage modifiers to make her MP hit harder. She's going to get a buff that makes it to where she has proper refunds. Kukulane is just one of the single best servants in the game. Just unbelievably powerful. Ushi is one of the absolute best riders in the game as well. Both of them are obscenely strong. Ku's obviously stronger, but Ushi's no slouch either. She has respectable MP gain when her fierce skill's active. Lots of crit stars and crit strength. She's got some hard survivability. He works well in the team too. I do need to get her A-Pen skills up one of these years. I keep forgetting to. Karma is the best, the strongest single target assassin. Period. As in a guts that lasts infinitely until it's actually procced. And by then the cooldown will be up and you can pop it again. Yes. Has a strong heal. It gives her some extra quick up on her MP. 50% battery. That gives her some nice crit strength. Very high charm chance on her MP. She has really great internals. Lots of star gen and MP gen. She also actually hits really hard despite the assassin debuff, because she has a respectable attack stat as an assassin. Oh, you have MP3 as well, huh? Cheeky. Ushi Venger is criminally underrated. She is... I put her up there with Kukulane as one of the absolute best servants in the game. She is outstanding. Her guts can stack with other guts, so that craft essence that I just got to 100, you slap this bad boy on her, and you'll be cooking with gas then. But any gut CE will work. It stacks, and when it gets procced, it just powers up her MP even further. She has really good internals as well, just tons of star gen and MP gain, 30% MP battery, anti-Genji damage, which is very niche, don't get me wrong, but when it does proc, she melts those Genjis. Nice crit strength up, 2 hits of evade with solid attack up. Well, her cooldowns are fairly low too, especially on her guts, so it's really easy to continuously get up. Removes buffs before damage, is outstanding. Just extremely strong. Here's another one that's extremely underrated, because Okita and then more recently Saber and Medusa get all the love. But Saber Astolfo is really bloody good. Like, he's right there with them. Like, Saber Medusa is the strongest. Like, she's actually bonkers. But the other two are not far behind. It's mostly the thing with Saber Medusa. It's a lot of it is sort of similar to Karma, where she can just sort of stun lock the enemy as long as she can chain her MP quickly. So it's like Karma spam charming them, so you get lots of free turns of extra damage and survivability off of it, and getting cooldowns back. But Saber Astolfo and Okita are also outstanding. There is not a bad 5-star single target quick Saber, they're all really bloody good. Just MP gen per turn, crit star bomb, debuff cleanse, 3 hits of evade, the fear, that's really handy. Which is the best Starfire Saber? Okay, so they do completely different things. Saber Starfire is single target, and Artillery Saber is AoE. It's also quick versus buster, respectively. So they're not really comparable, and unfortunately. Now, Artoria Saber is she's a perfectly fine Buster Looper Farmer Saber. Although I think I think she's in like 3rd place when it comes to Buster Sabers for farming, because I think funnily enough Saber Alter is ahead of her now because of the obscene buff she gets. I don't think it's this New Year, but it'll be next New Year. I think it's that when she gets it, that makes it to where she just refunds a ludicrous amount of MP. I think she gets like 20 MP charged for every enemy she hits, which is just silly. And Altera, no. Fair enough. Let's see. Oh yeah, you mentioned Reynes earlier. She's Yeah, she's quite useful. She's basically a slightly better waver, I suppose you could look at her as, because she has slightly more charge, single target charge, in return for being slightly less charge AoE than he has. Wait, no, they may tie. No, I think they tie. And I would say her MP is actually more useful than his, if only because of this negate defensive class disadvantage. She is, if your DPS happens to be a berserker, this is extremely useful because it makes them a lot tankier. Achilles is a good one. He recently got his MP upgraded, or he recently got to global. Just very solid kit, nice survivability, good MP gain, classic crit and crit strength up. I will say though that this is a double-edged sword. Skill seal. Skill seal is one of those things that can often hurt you more than it helps because it forces the enemy to attack, and sometimes you want the enemy to waste their actions on skills instead of blowing up your team. On the other hand, so like he has taunt, for example. If like say you're using Summer Elise or Bizet, who also inflicts skill seal, or can inflict skill seal on the enemy, then it's very useful because you want them to attack, so you can get MP gauge refund or counter attacks if you're Bizet. Bizet's really bloody good, by the way, and she has extremely unique gameplay. She is one of the best designed servants that they've come out with in the past few years. One of the more creative and unique ones. She's really good. I wish we had more content that I could actually use her on. Here's an underrated one, certainly. Honestly, a lot of quick units are underrated because the community as a whole have under the mistaken belief that quick is just terrible. But she just has everything you want. She's got quick and buster up, so it buffs pretty much her entire card set, 4/5 of it. Star Gather Weight crit strength up. She lowers the enemy's defense when she crits. She's got some hard survival and 2 hits of evade. 50% battery, Star Bomb. Lowers her cooldowns by 1 when she uses it. So effectively her cooldowns are really 6-4-6 instead of 7-5-7. She also gains an extra 2 crit stars each turn and inherently has slightly higher crit strength. She lowers quick card resistance like 3 turns. These are underrated effects because they really scale up. Like Asuko, with her arts down, you can really start cranking that damage up. Anti-demonic. Good stuff, good stuff. Just really solid kits. The internals are really nice, her damage is respectable despite being a caster. Good MP gain, good crits. Let's see. You have Caster Scotty, right? It's Summer Scotty that you don't have. Summer Scotty is pretty much just souped up regular Scotty. She gives 15% more quick up, as well as 15% buster up randomly. She also gives attack up in her skills as opposed to having to use her MP, which is really nice because that's multiplicative damage. Also, if you get her high MP levels, she can actually be your farmer. Now, she's also an AoE quick ruler, but she's nowhere near she's not Karen, we'll put it that way. If you wanted to pick a quick ruler to farm with, it would be Karen. She also gives 100% buster crit for 3 turns as opposed to the 100% quick crit up for 3 turns the regular Scotty gives, which means you can actually use her as a buster support and a quick support. So Dorman is he's Dorman. Just provides all sorts of debuffs on the enemy and gives significant attack up and crit up to both chaotic and evil allies. So if they're chaotic and evil, they get a double dose of the buffs, and it gets a bit silly. So like Von Orth can get that buff, Ushi Venger can get it, I think Karma can get it. The double buff, I mean. And even besides that, a lot of them can get at least one of them. But yeah, double Von Orth Dorman, or double Dorman Von Orth, is a unique and interesting party combination. You just make the enemy very sad. They get so debuffed, and Von Orth just gets so juiced up. Those crits just start exploding those HP bars. Now I don't have him raise all that spectacularly, because at the time this account was fairly young and I keep forgetting to go back to him. Santa Karna is a really solid single target saver. Lakshmi Bai is... Okay, so my favorite type of servants are the ones that basically are really soloable, and Lakshmi Bai is one of them. She's just outstanding. Like, lots of attack up, quick crit up, survivability. Now she gets quick card up, so she gives herself multiplicative buffs that greatly increased her damage. outstanding buff. It lowered the cooldown, it just gave her all sorts of great things, increased her MP gain, so she can actually, pretty sure she can actually loot now, thanks to that. Just tons of survivability, respectable damage, very fun playstyle. Never overlook how much decreasing the enemy's crit rate increases your survivability, because most of the time when things go awry in a boss fight, it's because of a random crit. If this was the arts account, I'd go over Osaka and explain even more why that's so strong. But this, suffice it to say, Lakshmi buys, I believe, is 20%. It lowers it by 20%. Here, I could just double check here. Yeah, it's 20% scaling up to 40%, depending on overcharge. Asiko, who there's no way I have a copy of handy here, do I? So I can show you who I'm talking about, because not everyone knows that nickname for her. There she is. Asiko, or 100 Faces. I really dislike this translation, but I really dislike this game's translation in general. So Asiko, when you get her MP buffed at least, she provides, she lowers the crit rate of the enemy, and she also gives arts resistance down, which means she'll progressively do more damage and get more MP refund from hitting the boss. But her crit rate down is obscene, it's 50%. Which means if she hits the enemy twice, it is impossible for them to crit anymore. They have a 100% crit down. She is extremely underrated because, and a lot of it comes down to her third skill. It scares people because it removes her buffs for a massive heal. But the way her cooldowns work out, if you've actually leveled her skills, generally by the time you need to use the heal, her buffs would have worn off anyway. Just really good unit. That's highly underrated. Okay, what were you asking about? Pravati? I haven't used her much yet, because it's only fairly recently I got her past MP1, but she is very good. She is still the best quick lancer farmer, even though they've come out with 2 5-star AoE quick lancers, one of which has gotten 2 buffs, and she's still better than them. So yeah, she just has obscene MP gain, very respectable damage despite not having an upgraded MP. Like, she doesn't have any buffs, and she still outdoes the 2 5-star AoE quick lancers. Figure that out. Here, Santa Gale is extremely useful. So not only is her charisma really good because it's attack up and crit strength up for the whole team, at respectable numbers too. I think it's at least 20%. Let me just make sure. It's 20% attack up and 30% crit damage up. It's excellent. Her second skill is invaluable because it's targetable buff removal resistance. And that is something that is extremely, extremely rare to come across. There are very few sources in the game for you for buff removal resistance, and it is an invaluable thing to have access to. Like so many boss fights that have scripted debuff, like buff removal on you, can just be broken a bit by using her and plugging her in or out at the right time to slap this second skill on your DPS. Demeter is a great example because you break her bar the first time, she removes your buffs. Well, if you slap this on your DPS, say your Ushi, now Ushi's buffs are still there, and not only that, but it gives you guts, and as well as 30% MP damage up. It's just an excellent skill, outstanding skill. And then her first skill is also extremely useful because it both removes a buff from the enemies and removes the latest debuff from the party. It's also a party heal, but there's been countless times that's come in useful, where say the enemy inflicts a big attack down on you, or they've given themselves a big again against Demeter. It's really good because it gets rid of her massive damage cut or defense up. One of them, it gets rid of the worst one because of the way that they happen to apply to her. She's really good. When she gets added to the evocation shop, she's in the first batch, I'm pretty sure, when that gets started, which will be early next year. Make sure to grab her. She's extremely useful. Can't really emphasize that enough. Santa Gale's, or Santa Terra is just a solid single target archer. Ditto for Tristan. Tristan has, similar to David, where he has an AoE evade for the party, one hit. Oh. Really underrated skill. Like, a lot tend to overlook that. But that's, you protected your entire party from an MP, basically. It's really good to have. Especially early on when your account's fresh and you don't have all these fancy stuff. I do wish the Valkyrie would get like an MP upgrade or something. That being said, if you get them at a decent MP level, okay, you will need them higher MP level than you would Bravati to farm with. We'll put it that way. But it's not like they're unusable. Too many are like, well, there's a servant that's better at this one thing than this servant, so clearly this servant's useless. That's just not the way it works. Marie's a cheeky little survivable machine. She has... So, one of the things that make Ku so strong is this protection from arrows, which is indefinite. It lasts until it actually gets ticked off. Well, she has the vulnerability version of that, where she gets 3 ticks of invul that last until they get ticked off. She can charm, she can attack up, she has a strong heal. Her damage, even with an upgraded MP and MP5, is not spectacular. But she's more supporty with some assist, some light damage assist, basically, than pure, oh, she's the DPS. This little bugger, Santa Martha. She was a real surprise in how useful she's been. Solid attack up, MP charge. MP seals the enemy, decreases their defense. Star Bomb, Star Gather on an ally. Self battery. Her MP, a fairly substantial AoE heal, and attack up, but then the anti-divine, anti-demon, and anti-undead bonus damage she gives the allies, plus a Star Bomb on her MP. All of this is really good stuff. So not only does she add some survivability to your quick team, but she adds a lot of damage and crit. And those damage mods. So JP figured this out really quickly when they started doing the plus free quests and the like, where a lot of the time one of these bonus damages she can unlock will affect whatever enemy is in the final wave of those, and she really juices up your damage against them. So she's the difference between 3 turning and oh dear, this is going to take an eternity. How to break through evade buff easily? Well, the obvious is sure hit, pierce, invuln. Buff removal, so Santa Gale can potentially remove the buff, or something like Ushi Venger removes the buff before she does her MP. Having sure hit or invuln pierce on your craft essence is really useful. This one right here, Sweet Crystal, anyone can get access to this at any time. So it's pure attack. It has ignore invuln and 50% starting gauge. It's not really going to help you damage wise, but it's solid invuln pierce constantly. Now you can get it. Like I said, it's always available. It's in the Rare Prism shop. It would be down here. Anniversary Blonde's another good one to grab if you plan on using Buster units at all. This is a quick account, so that's the only reason I haven't got it. Nonetheless, it is good with its Star Bomb and targetable guts. But yeah, you can get it from the Rare Prism shop. You don't, and the thing about it, it's 5 Rare Prisms per copy, so 25 to MLB it, but you don't have to limit break it immediately. 1 copy will do the job for you, especially since A-pins are a thing, because 1 copy that's 30% starting gauge and then you've got permanent pierce invuln. And then if you have the second A-pin unlocked on your DPS, well that's 20%, so there's your 50% starting gauge right there. But yeah, you get it from here for just like this, 5 Rare Prisms per copy. And that gives you Pierce Invuln, so you don't have to worry about sure hit or invuln. This is another useful one, by the way, anti-divine damage. these kind of power mod effects are really good because they are less common. They're getting more common nowadays because they're sticking it on every new servant, but most of the servants in the game don't really have access to them all that much. It's typically the typical attack, MP up, and card color buff. Generally are the buffs you get. As for craft essences you might actually have that has, let's see, sure it's, so, oh, my origin boulette's going to be MLB'd, I guess. So this one, this was an event, see, not too long ago. Full attack, sure hit, crit strength, start engage. Good stuff, good stuff. Of course, this is Sweet Crystal. Origin Boulette is permanent ignore, involves full attack, and you get anti-caster damage, which I think goes up to 40% when it's MLB. I guess I could just start. Do just that. Right. Yeah, 40%. That is a substantial amount of damage. So if you're fighting casters and you have Origin Bullet, just slap this on your rider and you just be laughing. This one, I think this is the most recent Valentine's event. So it has sure hits and then rainbow buff. No, arts and buster, no quicker. Hey, Black Grail is arguably the strongest craft essence in the game. So that's nothing to sneeze at, especially if it's MLBs. See, most pure attack CEs, they will have, say, let's get rid of these so I can actually, I can click it. There we are. So most of the full attacks will go to 2000 attack. Kaleidoscope's the same, it'll go to 2000 attack. But Black Grail is special because it actually has a even higher attack. It goes to 2400 instead of 2000 for some reason. And then they came out with a new version of Black Grail that also goes to 2400, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, never overlook how good Black Grail and K-Scope are. Even Cope Scope has its uses. Specifically on supports. Say you have a supports MP that you really need to use, like Santa Martha's, for example. Slap that on there and Bob's your uncle. The thing about it is, most gacha CEs, event gacha CEs, are not spectacular. The good ones are typically the ones that you actually get from playing the event. Like this one. This is an outstanding craft essence. MP gain, MP recovery boost, start engage, full attack, really good. So a lot of those servants that I really like Bar Guest, or Lakshmi Bai, or Nisu. I had a weird thing where I got 4 copies of it while I was rolling for Morgan on my main account. Even though it wasn't, not only was it not rated up, but I'm pretty sure there were other things that were actually, no, I think nothing was rated up there. That's kind of a trap, by the way. So you got it from Story Banner, right? So a lot of people with new players, they'll just say, oh yeah, never roll Story Banner, that's a waste, that's a waste. It actually isn't, because it is your best chance to get some of those really good permanent CEs. Your kaleidoscopes, your black grails, your fragment of 2030, your origin bullets, your this one's pretty decent too, even though it's mixed stats, just because of the starting gauge plus the MP overcharge. Depending on the server, it could be extremely useful. Let's see. This one is really good if you like Buster, solid Buster up, big crit strength, and MP gain up. I'm trying to find. This one is really good. Again, mixed stats, but it's anti-berserker damage, and you're already doing anti-berserker damage, basically, so it's really strong against them. The ignored defense is a really good effect as well. It really is a shame this isn't full attack. Okay, this one. 3 hits of evade and volumen, 3 hits of invuln, are both extremely underrated and extremely useful, especially on newer accounts where maybe you don't have all the big supports. So it can help. It helps their survivability a lot. This one, 500-year obsessions, really good for disrupting enemies that are really MP focused. These two are fine. One's Buster up with crit strength up, and the other's Aunts up with crit strength up. This one's actually really good on Merlin because of he already gets a passive 5% MP gauge per turn, so here's just an extra 8%. Because you generally want to spam his MP when you put him in a party. Okay, you're asking about 4-star CEs. Well, this is one. This is full attack. This is basically your budget scope. When this is MLB, it gives you 75% starting gauge. So it's extremely useful. It can make you be able to MP turn 1 if you have a 20% battery, as long as you've unlocked your 8 bins. It's also full attack, so it'll be a respectable 1600 attack if you were to max level it. Sorry. So this is a new version of one of these years. I'll click the right thing. This is a new version of, where is it? I have it somewhere. Of this Soccer-Scope Imaginary Element. The difference is this one was mixed stats, but the new one is full attack, so it is superior in every way. Unless you just prefer Sakura art over Karen art, which shameful. This one's a good one. 50% starting gauge, quick up, just solid all around. So quick servants if you've got nothing stronger. And of course, there's one for arts. Okay. This one is generic MP strength up, so it can work for any card color, and 50% starting gauge. And it is now. Yes, they have removed Stalker Scope. You can't. I think you can still roll it in story banner, maybe, because that generally seems to be what they do. They don't actually remove them. They just shift them to where you can only get them from story banner. So now if this is MLB, it's 15% MP strength, which is solid, with the 50% starting gauge. And again, if you were to get these to 80, they'd have 1600 attack, which is respectable. Again, the 5-star ones go to 2000 attack, with the exception of Black Grail and maybe this one too. No, I think it's just Black Grail and the new version of Black Grail. Holy Knight's Subtler Mind as well. And this one's the equivalent for Buster. So there's a quick one, and there's an arts one, and there's just an MP damage one. I don't think there's one for arts. Because these are old CEs, these are just arts. And yes, I have aerial drive. Last, we were able to get it last Halloween event when they had the big rerun. We were able to get all of the old Halloween craft essences. Hopefully you didn't miss that one, because it is arguably the best general Buster craft essence. Full attack, Buster up, MP strength up, 50% starting gauge. Good stuff. Here's one. Now, I think they're going to remove this one at some point. I can't quite remember, but I feel like they're going to. Full attack, 30% anti-humanoid. So, humanoid, that is I'd say the majority of the enemies in the game count as humanoids. It may be just over 50%, but it's definitely a significant amount. And 30% extra damage against an enemy is substantial. So that's really good. This one, which I think has also been removed, or is going to be removed, it's not removed yet, is really good. Just an extra, just 25 or 20% defense up. And of course, this one has been removed and replaced with something just worse. These two are both really good to slap on a taunter that you want to stick around a bit. You know, maybe survive an extra turn for you, like George or Mash. This is the backup if you don't have Black Grail, of course. Right, so we look at those. This is a good 3-star craft essence. MP gain up, 40% starting gauge. Mixed stats, but it's 3-star, you're not going to get any stats from it anyway. Here's what they replaced the Shroud of Magdalene with. You're getting, at MLB, you're getting 20% special defense against males, as opposed to 25%. The difference is you get an extra 25% MP gain when you're damaged, which doesn't actually amount to much most of the time. So generally, you just want the extra 5% defense. But I don't know. It's fine. It's workable. And yeah, there's there's unfortunately not an arts equivalent of the 50% starting 4-star CEs. Okay, 3-star craft essences that are useful. Battle of Kenlan. You will want 2 copies of this MLB if you have any interest whatsoever in soloing. Now, there is a welfare craft essence called, I think it's Pieta, which is basically an upgraded version of one of these. So the way these work is, if the servant is equipped with dies, it gives 15% MP to the rest of the party. Well, the Pieta one gives 20% charge, I'm pretty sure. So basically, to set up solos, you've got whatever DPS you want to solo with, and then you have 2 taunters, so George and Jengong, or George and Leonidas, or something like that. And then you equip the 2 taunters with these. And then they die, and then your soloer has a free 30% extra charge to start with, to maybe MP with. So that's useful, and you'd want 2 copies. This one's useful if you... Okay. When I say they're useful until you get better versions of them at higher rarities. Honestly, the fact that they came out with a spirit of really good 4-star craft essences, because used to it was either 5-star or bust. All the other craft essences pretty much sucked, for the most part. Like Sakura Scope was fine, of course. And Taste of Death, the anti-humanoid one. But other than that, it was the 5-star craft essences that were really good. But yeah, so Camlon, Zelrich. Let's see if I still have. Yuroji Temple. Just solid MP strength up, and I think you end up with 30% starting gauge and like 20% MP strength up. Decent damage up. The black keys are fine. Unfortunately, I don't have copies of... There's 2 more... Well, let me think. Leyline, which I think is called Dragon's Meridian. That one's decent because it's 50% starting gauge. And there's another damage one that's better than Ryodoji, but I'm drawing a blank on what it was called, unfortunately. Let me check the list because this is bugging me. Okay, maybe I was mistaken. Yeah, so it's Leyline, Ryuroji Temple, Zelrich, and then Kenlan. Basically are the useful ones. And I don't know how they got Dragon's Meridian out of Leylines. It's actually baffling. Localizes never even once. So yeah, they don't have a dedicated arts 4-star, but this one works since it's just a generic MP strength up. If you wanted an arts, so last one. Out of Death, right. Alright, is there anything else you want to ask about craft essences or anything else? Dude, how many bond rails do I even have? I've never used one. 9. Huh. Probably shoot one of these years. Alright. Thanks for dropping by, mate. Hope you have better luck in whenever you roll again than happens here tonight. Good luck at the market.
神聖だ。時間は戻らないものだ。最終確認はしっかりしたかい？
Let's just clean up our box here. Shouldn't be anything down there. Right.
まだ見ていく？
There we go. Plenty of room. Let's actually level our horse now.
いらっしゃい。そろそろ
I'll need foes. Can't believe I've had to hit pity 5 times this year.
とても嬉しいです。
The absolute state.
ありがとうございます。とても嬉しいです。
Okay, let's use some metals.
褒められていると考えて良いのでしょう。
Unfortunately, I won't be able to level up all 3 of the skills to max because of those bloody new blades from Trom.
ありがとうございます。とても嬉しいです。
Or what's in the events shop. I'll be able to get close.
ありがとう。こちら第一霊機のアサシンモードからバトルモードに変わった感じです。どうです？かっこいいでしょ。かわいいでしょ。クレームは一切受け付けません。
She has such a strong kit.
レベルアップです。いいですね。本当いい。 私が認められているということですから。
It's one of the longer level up lines I've heard.
クレームは一切受け付けませんよ。なぜなら受け付けると吐き気を催すので。受け付けないとはそういう意味合いです。はい、褒めてくださいね。
Watch me run out of embers here.
レベルアップです。
Got plenty in the box, of course, but it's a long way over there, Red Box.
役立ちますよ。とっても役立ちますよ。ご縁釈をお願いします。
I believe you refer to this as abandonment issues.
ついに最終段階、ジェネラルモードです。かっこよくて素敵なコエン釈ですよ。なんちゃって。炎風作要素は燃えるキックが強いところとかでしょうか。実はレベルを上げるだけ上げて放置という可能性もないですか。そうですか。よかった。
That'd be crazy. Who would ever do such a thing?
かっこいい私をここまで育ててくれるとは。さすが私のマスター、誉れ高いというものです。さあ、あなたの無知となって邪魔者をビシバシと叩き潰しますよ。それそれそれ。レベルアップです。いいですね。本当いい。
我ながらいい。
Okay. Do this summon that we just acquired. Oh, Billy. Nothing courage. So this event started. Should be able to grab a quartz from yeah. A little skippable prologue. I'm glad I skipped that. I might have been a bit perturbed to see that gold spark only to be another rider. Okay, now we
Yeah.
It's actually a bit of a bugaboo to see which skills level first, because this one. Oh no, that's their battery, so obviously that. Second skill's the one that could probably stand to obviously start with the battery. chains. And then having to farm a lot of those. Okay, we get to level 8. Boy, that's entirely too many of those bloody things. It's just cruel. Your turn. So for those of you that play Blue Archive, might be aware of the Arc Knights. Arc Knights has this system, I'm pretty sure, where you can level up. Is it Arc Knights that has it? Where you can level up a skill or whatever. There's like a meter, and you can say we're going to go to from 1 to max or whatever. Really expediently. Well, apparently the reason that they can't add something like that to FGO is because there's a different gacha game, I believe a Pokemon one, that started doing it first, and they patented the mechanic. In fact, a lot of the times, if you've ever wondered why a Japanese game for some reason doesn't have a very obvious quality of life aspects, it's because of something like that. It's because a different game, a different Japanese game to be specific, does have it, and the company that made the game patented it. So they're not allowed to use it. Well, presumably they could pay them to let them use it, but then when things start going a bit awry, quick negotiations break down at some point, or the relationship sours. Especially in this case where it's a Pokemon game that had it. I'm pretty sure the game's even dead by now, but nonetheless. So I'm going to be about 15 off once I get the daggers from the shop. What are these called? Ceremonial Sword of Twilight. Twilight daggers. So once I get them from, because there's 30 in the shops, that put me at 57, so yeah, that's 15 away. Luckily, the best node that you can farm them on is like a 75% drop rate, so it's really nothing to get them. Right, I need to actually complete the section for to let me carry the shop. But I reckon that'll wrap up for this stream though. I won't bore you with all that nonsense. No, I'll just bore you with all the maintenance I was doing. Bugger all. So, hope my rambling over this account and servants and craft essences may have been helpful to anybody that was watching. Or at the very least you enjoyed my pain in rolling. Not sure what ascension I like best on her. But alright, I reckon that'll do for now. So next time will probably be, well, it'll definitely be Blue Archive roles for the Bandolds. I think that may be next week. I wouldn't swear to it. Something around there. But until then, I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.